Hey y'all, really quick. This is not about the quality of the video, okay? This is about the message. Um, I have felt it on my heart to come share um, a message or a thought today. And I was like, dang, I have no choice but to get on here looking crazy per usual because this is raw, okay? And honestly, a girl does not have time to put the effort in. Um, and to get on here and shoot a video because it will happen. It will happen when it is in alignment. And it's not just like a spur of the moment thing. But okay, let me get to the point. Okay, so this message is really for those that are in betweeners. Okay. Um, you are in a space where energetically you know that things are off and you can't quite like identify things yet, but you just know like you've reached your level of I know my worth, right? And then you're like, now that I know this, like what what do I do with it? Basically. um because honestly, that is a it's a tough space to be in. um Especially when it's like, am I being lazy or am I just like, I no longer trade my time for money? Like, because when you really reach a level of peace with it, it is just like, hell no. Like, I only have time for things that set my soul on fire. And that's it. Obviously, you got to work in the rest, the yin and the yang, and life flows. It's not perfect. I saw my friend today on TikTok making a video about how life doesn't get better, you get better, right? Um, so, yes, that the message is about when you reach that level, um, you know, what is being told to you, or what this is like when you're trying to like learn about your intuition and inner self, right? So for instance, this is going to be what my example is on. So for those of you that are in um, side gig hustle, okay, you guys are doing the DoorDash, Amazon runs, things of that nature, right? You're doing it because um, it's money you can have by tomorrow, okay? And you're not really looking at like all of the efforts that you're putting in for it. You're just like, I know I can get a guaranteed whatever out of it, especially if you're trying to get that last little, for rent or whatever you need it for, right? So it's came to the day and you're like, damn, rent is due in 4 days. And I could secure some money right now. Like there's an opportunity, um, like if it's an Amazon run, you accept that block. I'm like, all right, you get up in the morning and your run is at 3:30. You don't realize it's the day before, you're burnt out, or it's just like you had a good ass day and you're just trying to chill. um I don't know, whatever the case may be. But you wake up at like 2 a.m. and you're like, dang, um I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. You start to break down all of the cons. Like if I get up right now, like there's no guarantee that it's gonna be a good one. Like this shit might be high mileage, like it could be one of them slow starts where you gotta wait 40 minutes to even get started because the people backed up, and they be like, you gotta wait at least an hour. before we can dismiss you, and you gonna be waiting during that whole time, and then you the one that gets the block and still got to do it. Like, there are just a bunch of things that can trickle down, and it's like when you're going through that cycle to make that decision, does it outweigh the pros? Okay. And so, like, you could be saying things to yourself like, I mean, maybe you're one of those people like me. I am just an anxiety mess. I always am worried about the future, things that, like, I am just scanning through everything, um, and finding future things to be worried about instead of being in the present. That is what I struggle with. And so I could be like, oh, well, actually, I do have enough money for rent. It's just that my account is going to be lower than what I want it to be. And I don't like that. Like, if you're one of those, like, I don't like that. I like my money to be like, I got some extra cushion. It's not, oh, like, this is going to be low and then whatever, whatever. Okay. Um, so this is a message for that. You're in a liminal space, not broke, but not abundant in the way you envision. So the ego whispers, take the guaranteed money, be safe. But your body and energy are resisting, not because you're lazy or ungrateful, but because your frequency has risen and your soul knows when something costs more than it's worth. Every time you take action from fear, you reinforce that it's your source. But when you pause, even with pressure building, and say, I trust that what's aligned will come, I don't trade my peace for pennies, you realign with your core truth. You are the abundance. So, a reflection to that, too, like if you like to journal or say out loud to yourself, um, so when it comes down to it, would I take this run if I already had the rent covered? So, not my forward future thinking self like, oh, I can cover the rent because I haven't paid it yet, so I'm still thinking about it like, I'll be good, yeah. But it's like, no, if the shit was paid right now, it is that day, it's the day of, would I take this run if I already had the rent taken care of? Fuck no. Okay. Do I feel expanded or uh sorry, my video messed up. It would make me feel good if I could walk up in there and be like, yeah, give me the 2 item run for $100, because really it's like my time is worth a lot more than what anybody could provide me. And that's really how I just started looking at stuff. Like, if I can't walk in this bitch and say exactly what I want right now and get that, then I am above this. Um, am I only considering it because of pressure, not clarity? Yes. Because at clarity, I would not be fucking waking up and driving 200 plus miles delivering packages to get $100. Think about it. No, I would not. I would drive 200 miles, but I'm finna be on a fucking road trip and just doing some whatever fucking shit, on a hike, going kayaking. That is what I would be doing. I would not be over here pulling up to people's houses. Like, no. Um, and plus, like, when you do shit like that, you realize how sketchy people just are, you know. Like, I mean, it's perspective, because also, um it allows you to, like, travel around. Like, if you're somebody that just likes to drive, but you're not trying to drive the furthest miles, but you like to just clear your head and just chill, yeah, that's cool. But, like, there are other things that factor into it to where it's like, this shit can be a lot. Like, especially if you want a fucking gravel road for 10 miles. And okay, this is too focused on them. See, that's how y'all can tell I be talking my shit with them. That yes, it is easy for a lot of us to be like, you can get some money, yes, but they sure do be disguising the slavery and that shit. Um, so if your gut is saying this isn't worth it energetically, then maybe this is a test of faith and not a missed opportunity. Okay. So another way that you could um, change the trajectory of your energy is like, okay, well, if I'm going to make the decision not to, do any delivery apps today, I'm going to use that time to create content, focus on my brand, maybe do some collaborating. I don't know why I said it like that. Maybe do some like collaborating with other like-minded individuals if you know other business owners or something like that, or like just follow up with something that has been nudging at you. Okay. You can journal or meditate, um, because that'll definitely help reset your internal self. Trust that if that money is meant to flow to you in another form, it will. So it can come in other ways. Maybe you end up getting a fucking discount on your rent. Um, that was like $60. Okay. And then maybe you found $20 on the ground. Like everything adds up. Okay. Pay attention. Most definitely, I don't like, we are under the impression that things are supposed to be how exactly we envision it to be. And it's not. Like, you have to let go of that attachment of the outcome. So you literally just have to be like, shit, if energetically and truly this does not align with you, then yeah, what do we need to do to pour into our cup today? So if it's like, shit, this is really a rest day, then rest. Like, really rest and spend that time just like, you can think, um, create, just whatever, lounge around and don't feel bad about it. But just use your discernment. Um, so then, next steps. So you know that it's an internal no, right? But now you just don't know how to accept it fully, like externally, I guess it would be, right? So my internal no was like, actually, I'm not going to accept this run. I'm going to forfeit the block. And then after you do it, you're like, shit, I am just, ooh, I don't know how I should feel right now. Okay. So that's the edge, and it's a sacred one. You're not wrestling with the Amazon run. You're wrestling with the part of you that's tired of surviving while still being tempted by it. Here's the truth. You already know deep down, saying no to money that drains you is the portal to money that uplifts you. But that in between space, when you've declined the old but haven't fully accepted the new, feels like death. It's the ego death. The part of you that thinks you're only safe if you hustle. The part that still equates money with effort, not alignment. So, yes, your soul said no, and now you've been asked to hold the vibration of that no, like it is your job. Not just to skip the run, but to say, I will not betray my nervous system to chase scraps when I am building a table of abundance. Even if that means sitting in discomfort, even if that means facing the silence. But let's be real, this doesn't mean doing nothing. It means channeling that pressure into something aligned. So here's what you can do instead. Um, just like some of the things that I mentioned earlier is like, how are you going to pour back into your cup? You can be very specific about ways that you can pour into your cup today. Maybe you've been creating content, like you've started creating more content. Do that. Give yourself time today to do that content instead of being like, well, I haven't had any time to do content. Well, now you have time. You can run a sale with your business. Do anything. Okay. And say this out loud if it resonates. I trust that honoring my no opens the door for my yes. I am not broke. I'm becoming unshakable. This is the uncomfortable part of stepping into your higher timeline, but you are not lost. You're in labor. You don't owe them your energy. You owe yourself your trust. Okay? And now we're on to this. I am not understanding when I am working so hard towards something, I continue to get worse in my position. For instance, if this is you, my money keeps getting lower and lower, and I feel I am doing the work to be deserving to start earning for my business or for just yourself in general, okay? You're not wrong to feel this way. You're not crazy, you're not lazy. You're in the space between seed and sprout. And it's one of the most spiritually brutal places to be in. Let's say this plainly. You are doing the work, you are aligned in intention, and still it's not flowing in the way you know it should. So, what's happening? The void, okay? There's a space in your journey called the void. It's not punishment, it's initiation. You plant, water, show up, and then nothing. This isn't because you're doing something wrong. It's because you're shifting from old energetic systems like work equals worth and effort equals income into energetic congruence where income comes from resonance, not hustle. Did I say resonance, not hustle? I probably did say that. I don't know. But before that resonance stabilizes, your old foundation has to crack apart. You are watching the old fall away while the new hasn't matured enough to sustain you yet. Ego says, you're doing all this for nothing. You should quit. Just go back to what's safe. But your soul whispers, keep going. This is the labor before birth. You are being shaped to receive what you've asked for. The pattern you're breaking. You're not just trying to make sales, you're trying to break a lifetime of survival programming that says you must sacrifice to be safe, you must exhaust to be worthy, you must struggle before you can rest. You're unlearning all of that. And in that unlearning, there's a pause, a hollowing out, a terrifying stillness that looks like lack, but is really preparation. So, what can you do? Here's what I suggest for the next 72 hours. Stop begging for alignment. You already are aligned. Claim it. Move like it. Open a direct portal. What avenues do you have that you are sleeping on right now? What are things that you have already done for yourself that you can pour into? Like I said. Sorry y'all, I had to check on my baby. Um Look, and here comes my other baby right here. Sorry, y'all. I had to check on my baby, and here comes my other little baby. Okay, so you can probably hear Miss Rachel in the back, but please listen to the message, okay? But yes, what are your direct portals to stuff that you have going on? If you have a business, it's a flash sale, maybe a pop-up event, um, an affiliate program or giveaway. Or if you're a writer, you can write this on paper. Dear money, I am ready for you to come in ease. I release shame. I release panic. I trust the call of my soul over the scream of the world. I trust what I'm building is real. You are not failing. You are not being tested for fun. You are stepping into your legacy timeline, and legacy is not built in 30 days. But you will rise from this season, and when you do, you'll realize it wasn't about money. It was about becoming someone who could hold it. So, okay? So, actually, that's all I got. That's all I got. I just wanted a quick message, and now I'm going to go back to being with my son. Until next time.